What up, everybody? How's it going? It is time for another episode of the John Browner Podcast. What's good? I am currently putting out all the things on all the socials, and now I am literally echoing. But I'm here. We popping. We about to have a good time. Let's go camping. Okay, first and foremost. After we go camping, let's talk some other stuff. Let's talk a couple of things. Let's talk about, do the Padres have a playoff push in them? In addition to doing the playoff push, I want to know, have you heard, have you seen, do you understand what's happening with the 30 for 30 on OTHANI? We're going to get into that. We're going to definitely 100% get deep into that. I am John Browner. As always, you guys know how to find the show. But if those of you who are new to the show, you don't know how to find the show, all you need to do is head over to the John Browner Podcast at gmail.com. That's how you reach the show. That's how you talk to me long form. That's how you send a complaint. I check it because that's where all the bills go. So if you send me a long form email, I will actually read it. Maybe not on the show, but I will read it. I got another message from a close listener to the show and someone who I consider a friend, who I'll talk about at the end of this. And I also have so I guess it's two things at the end of the show. I want to talk about a person who I want to send some well wishes to, and a project I want you guys to participate in. And it's which both things are important to me, but one thing is needs help, and the other thing needs encouragement. And I'll talk about those at the end of the show. But like I said, as always, we are on the march. We did a march. We did a march, not like a protest, but we did a march to 300. And now we on the road to 500. And the JBP, we're on our way to 500 subscribers. That's right. We're on our way to 500 subscribers. And to do that, I need you. I need you to share. I need you to like. I need you to subscribe. And most importantly, I need you to spread the word. The show is available on Facebook. The show's available on YouTube. The show's available on Twitch, X, and Kick. So the show's in a lot of places live. The show's moving in a lot of places, just so you guys can find it. So shout out to my Kick listener. I don't know if they're a bot or not, but they got two accounts. They got an account on Kick. They got an account on X. So that's my first Kick follower. So shout out to her. Which again, shout out to my bot. That's what I'm gonna call my. That's my bot right there, y'all. In addition to that, let's cook now. Let's get to some of these stories. We're gonna go camping. I'm gonna talk about the AFC West. We're gonna talk about the OTHANI thing, and I'm gonna ask the question at the end of this. With the topics go, can the Padres make a playoff push? We're gonna get into that. They're back in town. They're playing Colorado. They got 2 games against Colorado. 2 games they should win. There's a lot of buzz about, are they going to be buyers at the deadline, and are people sending messages with late inning home runs? And we're going to dig into that for all the Padre fans out there. But first, have you heard about this OTHANI 30 for 30? Ipe Muzara, the interpreter, did an interview with someone from ESPN, I'm assuming from prison. Now, if you know me, if you follow this show, if you follow what I think about OTHANI, who I refer to as OTHANI, because there's no way there. And again, I don't care how much money you make. I don't care how poor your English is. There's no way you let someone funnel $17 million from you and you didn't know. I find that hard to believe. I don't know a lot of rich people, but I know about 4 of them. And I asked them, Straight up, I asked the 4 rich people I know. One's got about 30 million. One's got about 15. One's got about 100. Like, so these are people with real money, like actual money. Now, Otani has more money than all of them combined, but nonetheless, at the time, he did not. So I asked somebody, not worth 100 million, a person who has liquid 100 million. Okay? I asked this person, is it possible for someone in your financial atmosphere to have either access to do so or the ability to steal $17 million from you and you not know? That person laughed in my face. Got a good laugh out of it too. And then said, do you really believe that this man did not know that his money was being gambled like that? And I said the same thing. So for Ime to now come out with, I don't know, his side of the story, because I just believe this is all cover fire. I believe Otani bet on baseball. I believe he did it through his interpreter. I don't think Otani is a raging gambler, but I think Otani, like we do, some of us do it with Prize Picks, some of us do it with Kalshi, some of us do it with Underdog. We do small fantasy bets. We do small, more or less over unders. We all out here doing these things. We all are. He's just doing it or did it at a level that we financially we can't play in that area. But when you make more, you have more money to play with. I just don't believe that someone that smart, that level of acumen in every portion of his life, this was his one blind spot. This wasn't like some friend that he had since they were in, in Japan somewhere. It wasn't some guy he knew since he was 5. This wasn't a family member. This wasn't a brother. This is somebody who he built a working relationship with and who became his interpreter. So to me, if you're asking me, I still think this thing stinks. And I think it's very dangerous for ESPN to bring this back up to the forefront. I think that this idea, so now that the story has passed, the woman who's telling the story is the one who broke the story. She's doing the 30 for 30. Let me see if I can find her name. OTHANI 30 for 30. So I don't so to me, I can't find the person, the woman who quote unquote broke the story. To me, as I listen to this story get rehatched and I listen to him tell his version of the story again, I gotta tell you, it doesn't pass the smell test. Think of it in your personal life. If Otani was a nepotism baby and he didn't work for this money, he always was rich. He had his money passed down through generations. If that was the Otani situation, I can promise you I would believe this story. Because he didn't work for the money. Somebody's always managed the money. And so now that he got the money, somebody close with him to able to mismanage the money. I would be able to believe that. But when you work as hard as he has to obtain that money, there is no way you don't notice $17 million missing. Now, I believe that he is a good enough person for the other portion of that story you have to believe to work, that when Ohtani found out, he basically said, all right, man, let me think about paying you back. Let me think about paying off the debt, but I'll pay the debt directly. I won't give you the money. Like a lot of it simply doesn't make any sense. If you work as hard as you work for your money, most of us will notice $100 missing from our account. Most of us would notice if 10 grand was missing from our account. And because of the amount of money he makes, you want me to believe that there were millions of dollars disappearing from his account. And he didn't know? You mean to tell me when Ime won, I always want to call him Ime Udoka, but that's not him. When Mazahari won the bets and the money went back into the account, he didn't notice that either? Look at excuses. Excuses say, you can't take 10,000 from my account. And that is my point. Shout out to my co-host, the Chat Pack. Let me give him a Chat Pack Day shout out. Shout out to Ask Technology. Shout out to Raiders versus everybody. Shout out to Tito. Shout out to Excuseless. What's the amount of money that could come missing from your account that you wouldn't notice gone? I guess that's the starting point here. If you want to believe the Ohtani story, and let's say your wife or your son or your wife or your child has access to your bank account, how much money can they take before you realize what's up? Because this is the only way I have been able to rationalize this story and put it in perspective of the everyday person. How much money can go missing out of your account, taken out by your significant other or a child, until you notice, wait a minute, what's this? Honestly, they got me too. Honestly says, $19.99 from Apple TV. I forgot to cancel for 8 months. Okay, so now we go. Now we cooking. Okay. So Aunt Esther says $19.99. But you were getting something for that $19.99. Even if you were not watching it, you knew you were getting something for that money. You knew initially the $19.99 went out for something. And after 8 months, you went, wait a minute. What is this $20 that keeps vanishing from my account? 8 months later. But that's not how Ohtani found out. He never noticed. He never noticed. What up, Biggie? I have had the privilege of making large sums of money at different portions of my life. And I can tell you, when you make a large sum of money, you get that first check or you get that first couple of checks, you stare at it. When you get that amount of money as a young man for the first time, you want to see the zeros. So again, for people who have never experienced the unbelievable joy of your first check as a professional athlete and the crushing defeat of the taxes that come out of it, there's absolutely, positively no way he wasn't looking at the money. I don't care what culture you're from. Again, he didn't grow up rich. He didn't grow up flying private. Ohtani worked for this money. And now to have gotten that money and playing for the Angels, you get 7 million, 10 million, 15 million, 50 million. You look at the zeros. Hell, some of us look at our checks now. There ain't no way everybody in the chat pack ain't look at their bank account once this week, and it's Tuesday. Cut it out. Cut it out. Even if you're a Dodger fan, even if you're an OTHANI fan, you have to admit some of this is suspicious. It doesn't pass the smell test. And ESPN did a 30 for 30 to dig all this back up again. You're just bringing into question the very bottom line of the case. Would you notice this? What is the amount of money you would notice missing? Aunt Esther gave us $19.99 because Apple TV was stealing money from her or him for 8 months. Now I'm asking directly, Biggie, what's the amount of money that could be missing from your account that you wouldn't notice? Look at excuseless. I remember my first check, and young Browner had to explain taxes to me, shaking my head. Never wanted to work at. I remember that day. I remember that conversation. David P., I work too hard for my money. I keep my eye on my chickens. And this is my whole point. This is what I'm talking about. He's still a person, y'all. A lot of times we think of these athletes who get as big as OTHANI as like being something larger than life. These are still people. And I don't care how much his contract is worth. To lose $17 million over a small period of time, because this didn't happen over 20 years. Biggie says a show called Your Friends and Neighbors, where a guy in a rich neighborhood starts stealing from his neighbors, and they're so rich that they didn't even notice very expensive things missing. Oh, this is the John Hamm show. I'm familiar with it. But these are physical things missing. Physical things missing. You can be rich and have so many physical things, you might not even notice the car's missing. Or a watch. Or cufflinks or whatever, rich people got. You're going to notice the money. Because you use the money to buy the things. And that's my question today. That's the question of the show. That's the question of today's show. How much money can go missing in your account before you notice? Because I'm with Aunt Esther. I would say you got about, I think at one point I had 2 Netflix accounts. I'm gonna put my business in the street, but I'm gonna tell y'all how I found out how long I could go. I had 2 Netflix accounts. I had 2 Apple Music accounts. They give it to you 6 months for free. So you absolutely forget. And people, if you know me, you know I switch phones. So I had 3 different phone numbers, which means 3 different Apple ID accounts. This is back in the day. So I had 2 Apple accounts for Apple Music. I had 2 Netflix accounts, and I had 2 Amazon Prime accounts. They got me. I'm guilty. So for me, and where I'm at financially, it was about $75. Well, actually, no, it was more than that. At the time, Netflix was 20, so that was 40. Apple Music was 9, so that's 10, that's 50. And the 2 Amazon. So yeah, about $70 a month. That was exiting the old bank account where I was like, whatever. That's how it kept going, like, oh, whatever. Or I would get the charge and be like, I thought I paid for Netflix already. Huh. Okay, whatever. And then one day I ran a little slim on my finances and was like, wait a minute, whoa. Let me look at this. And I was like, bang, 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 bang. Oh man, I got e-paid. Netflix e-paid me. What up, Rigby? Rigby, what's the most money missing out of your account before you notice? That's the question in today's show. What is the most amount of money you could notice missing? And I asked this question because the 30 for 30 on OTHANI is being brought up again. But it's again, once they start talking about the facts of the case, I'm not talking about hearsay. I'm not talking about, what you believe, what this person believes. I'm talking about the facts of the case. After looking at the facts of the case, how much money would you notice? Biggie says, I notice if $10, I notice $10 if it was missing because I don't have money like that. Money is tight right now, bruh. We all tight right now. We all tight. But even if you him again, you want me to believe they're asking you to suspend financial reality and not notice large hundreds of thousands of dollars are just missing. And again, not over a 20-year period, not over a 10-year period, like over maybe a 5 or 6 year period. Maybe. Rigby says, depends when it comes up. And I'd say about the gas tank, so like 100, 150 bucks. And again, you see what happens when people say this. So I told y'all where mine came from. Unanswered told us it was Apple TV for her. Rigby saying it's gas for him. Biggie says it'd be 10 for him because, we all tight around the wallet these days. So my point in that is, where it's going. So the fact that it's missing in your mind, I spent it. So it's rattling in there somewhere. Even though the money's gone, I knew I had multiple accounts. I knew I was paying for Netflix. I knew I was paying for Amazon. I knew I was paying for Apple Music. I didn't know I had 2 accounts in each, but I knew I was paying for it. So it was up here somewhere. They want you to believe that he didn't know about this at all. They want you to believe that he didn't know about this money at all being gone. Biggie says, didn't some executives steal millions of dollars from the Jaguars before they even noticed the money was missing? Shad Khan is a billionaire running multiple businesses. See? And this is why I like the co-hosts to come in. This is why I like y'all opinions, because it allows me to flush out a lot of these ideas and flush out a lot of these questions people have that'll make you go, well, yeah, that's true. Shad Khan is a billionaire who runs multiple businesses. You can steal millions of dollars from him. He owns multiple corporations. So if you want to embezzle, that's the word they use for something like that. If you want to embezzle millions of dollars from him, you could do that. And he wouldn't catch it for a while because he's a billionaire and he runs multiple businesses. He's not an individual person whose interpreter, somebody right next to him, is stealing millions of dollars from him. This is why it's not believable. You want me to believe that Ipe was so close to OTHANI that he was stealing millions of dollars from him, but he was also not close enough to OTHANI for OTHANI to be like, yo, what you doing on your phone all the time? You ever got a homeboy you hang out with, you don't be like, yo, what you doing? And he be like, hey, look at these titties. You ain't never had that homeboy like, hey, man, I'm finna put this parlay together. Hey, what you think about so-and-so? If OTHANI was as close to Ipe as they say, you mean that he didn't know nothing until Ipe came to him and said, hey, listen, man, I got a problem I need your help with. Come on, man. Esther says one of our customers fired a maintenance guy that was running a side business buying HVAC parts and equipment on the hospital time for years. Now he's cooked. Yeah, buddy, your ass going to jail. But again, this is something where this is and again, thank you, Esther. This is a big business doing something, not an individual person, with his buddy who he's with all the time. I'm interlocking my fingers for people who, listen to the pod. Biggie says, man, many celebrities get ripped off by their managers before noticing the money is missing. Jay-Z says he has accountants watching accountants. Actually, that was Biggie. I got lawyers watching lawyers so I don't go broke. That was Biggie. Well, man, Jay-Z did say something about accountants, but that's a stolen line from Biggie. He changed it from a lawyers to accountants, but we on the same page, Biggie. Damn, they found 95,000 so far, buddy, running that side business. Yeah, your ass going to jail, partner. Unless you got, I don't know, 95,000 plus, pain and suffering to give back. I hope that HVAC business is doing well. But yeah, man, what do you believe? What do you believe? I believe the Sporting Tribune is showing this on X. The Sporting Tribune nightly, I'm on YouTube. That also plays on X. Shout out to everybody at the Sporting Tribune working on a podcast network to be launching soon, sometime mid to early August. So make sure y'all stick around for the details on that. Like I said on the show today, I'm going to talk about if the Padres going to make a run. I talked about the OTHANI thing already. We're going to go camping on the AFC West. We're going to talk about the quarterbacks, the coaches, and probably another prime player and see who's going to do what this year in the division. I'm going to talk about a friend of mine who needs some encouragement, and I'm going to talk about a cause that I think that you guys will really be into helping out. So shout out. So let's keep it rolling. David P. says, not to mention they were all showing the withdrawals. No way he didn't see that. That's what I'm saying. Ain't nobody that rich you don't even look at how much money you got. Come on, fam. Call me a dummy behind my back. Don't do it to my face. Lie behind my back, man. If you gonna tell me it's raining, boy, you better not be standing above me with your pants down. Because I'm gonna look up. That sounded terrible, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean. All right, so let's go camping. All right, let me see. I think it's this one. Now let's go camping. I wrote some stuff down. And I want y'all to follow me. Let me look up the win. Let me look up the win totals again. Vegas win totals for the AFC West 2026. No, that's wrong. All right, these are win totals. They got the Chargers with 9.5. They got the Chiefs with 10.5. At the Broncos with 9. Ooh, wow. Okay, Broncos 9.5. And they got the Raiders at 5.5. So let's dig into this. Now, as far as the AFC West goes, these are the three things that I think matter most to each team. And I want you guys to chime in and tell me what y'all think. In the AFC West, I have the Chargers, their most important people. Herbert, Harbaugh, Derwin James. The Chiefs, their three most important people. Mahomes, Reed, Jones, the defensive tackle. The Raiders' three most important people. Question mark, because I don't know who their quarterback is. Question mark, because there's a first-time head coach in Clint Kubiak. And Max Crosby. The Broncos, I have Bo Nix, Sean Payton, and all of that defense, because that defense was very no-name, but that defense got the job done. So when we're looking at these teams, we're looking at these divisions. What sticks out most to you in the division? First and foremost, I'm going to say the first thing that sticks out to me in these divisions is the return of Mahomes. What does that mean? Does Mahomes coming back from what looked like a very vicious knee injury on the sideline last year? People saying that he won't be back to midway through next year, and yet here we are. Patrick Mahomes is in camp, wearing a brace, running around. Now he has come out and said that he's obviously going to have to play different. He can't make certain plays. He can't do certain things that he used to do, and he's going to have to run less and improvise more from the pocket. Do you buy that? You buy that? Because we already know that when the receivers aren't getting arrested in Kansas City, apparently the family is shooting each other. Did you hear about this Eric Bieniemy story? I mean, listen, we are camping, and we are currently talking about the Chiefs. I normally stay away from family stuff, but Eric Bieniemy son shot his wife. Let me throw that. Let me say it one more time. The Chiefs offensive coordinator, Eric Bieniemy, former offensive running backs coach for the Chicago Bears last year, a guy who I really like as a coach, his son shot his wife. The son shot his mother. And if you see this mugshot, he looked like he shot her. If a mugshot ever said, if a mugshot could talk, this mugshot says, I shot my mama. I mean, go look it up yourself. Go look it up. That's a rough family dinner. That's one hell of a road trip. So the Chiefs, as usual, they always have some drama because remember Andy Reid's son damn near killed 2 people the week of the Super Bowl. But you know, we don't talk about that. Will the injury of Patrick Mahomes? Yeah, man. Biggie, very good point. Very good point. Biggie says the Eric Bieniemy story could have turned into a Rob Reiner situation, so they're lucky it didn't. Facts, man. That Rob Reiner situation was crazy. So when we look at this team, the Chiefs lost McDuffie at corner. The Chiefs did get Kenneth Walker at running back, which I think will be the larger help on Patrick Mahomes because Kenneth Walker runs like his life depends on it. He's one of my favorite people to watch run, not because it's fancy, because it's nasty. Kenneth Walker runs like you might want to get out my way. There are 3 people who run in the league where I like watching them run. I love watching Bijan Robinson. I love watching Kenneth Walker. And I love watching Saquon Barkley. It is just must-see TV when Kenneth Walker, whether he runs for 5 yards or 55 yards, somebody finna get hit. Somebody finna get hit. Now, a lot of leg tackling don't work on this guy. So I think that's the biggest upgrade they made this offseason. I would say that their biggest pickup. Their biggest pickup being Kenneth Walker. At 10.5 wins, as far as Vegas goes, I'm going under that. I'm going under 10.5. What y'all think? For the Chiefs, more or over under 10.5? I'm going under for the Chiefs in our going camping section. Next is the Chargers. I think the Chargers' biggest pickup, believe it or not, isn't even on the field. It's Mike McDaniel. Because I think Mike McDaniel is going to give this offense something it didn't have last year. I thought, even though I love Jim Harbaugh's offense, I thought that it looked a little stale. I thought it felt kind of predictable. It didn't have any real flash to it. It felt like a college-heavy offense where talent has to take it to the next level, and Justin Herbert got that offense into the playoffs. Now, didn't look good when they got there, but they got there. So I'm expecting Mike McDaniel to really put something on this roster to make it make Herbert, ready for this? MVP. I'm saying that this is a Herbert MVP year. I think the statistics will be there. If they can win this division, I think the wins will be there. I think that if you can, because he already gets a lot of attention, he gets a lot of praise. And if he gets a push going in the right direction, I'm pretty sure he can win the MVP. So I'm going with Herbert at MVP. And they have 9.5 wins. I'm going to go over that. Because I think they win more than nine games. I really do. I think the Chiefs probably win 9 games, which is less than, or I think the Chiefs will win 10 games, which is less than 10.5. Either way, I'm going over. I think the Chargers will win more than 9.5. I think the Chiefs will win less. Now let's get to the Raiders. We'll save the Broncos for last. The Raiders, my friends, I have a lot of questions about the Raiders. Are you going to waste time starting someone not named Fernando Mendoza? Can their head coach be a head coach? Question mark. Is Max Crosby a Raider come September? Because if I'm this organization, I like it. Hey. Okay. Joseph, how many wins? Joseph Cabral says delusional Browner. How many wins you got? Because I'm giving you 10, and I think 10 wins the division. How many you think the Chargers gonna get? You can Spanos curse all you want. I'm just saying. I'm going with 10. I think the Raiders don't have any real identifiable players. Ashton Genty, I think, that's the running back. Nobody could block for him last year. So you don't know what you have at the running back position because you don't know what he can do because he couldn't get past the line of scrimmage last year because they couldn't have nobody to block for him. Your wide receivers, you have one of the best tight ends in the business. So that being that, so you gotta I love their tight end position, but I don't know about everything else. I like Max Crosby, but you can't do it one man on the defensive line. So I don't know, man. I don't know. The Raiders have a 5.5 wins for the Raiders. I'm going to say more. I'm going to say over. I don't know how many over, but I'm going to say over on 5.5. Oh, okay. Joseph says probably more than 10 win-wise, but delusional part is the Herbert MVP. Okay. I completely disagree with. We'll find out on the Herbert MVP, but I think Justin Herbert will put up the statistics to put him in the MVP race. And when you're in the MVP race, you need to be in the top of the standings. So if he's at the top of the standings and he's accumulating stats with his name already out there, MVP for Herbert. Oh, hold on. But yeah, I think the Raiders will get more than 5 wins. I think you'll play Fernando Mendoza. I think Fernando Mendoza is better than what we think. And I think at tight end, at running back, you're going to get some production. I think because they can't be as bad as they were at the offensive line last year. It's impossible to be that bad 2 years in a row when you bring in a new head coach. I'm trying to. I want to make sure I get this right too. Raiders head coach. Yeah, it is Clint Kubiak. I thought it was Clint Kubiak. I just wasn't sure. So you bring in Clint Kubiak. He's going to run the ball. And one of the principles of running the ball is blocking in the offensive line. So I'm expecting them to win more games just because you got Ashton Genty. You got Ashton Genty. You got the tight end. You got Herbert. What up, Coach Alex? You never late to a party that starts, that never stops. There we go. Yeah. You never late to a party that never stops, Coach. So I got the Raiders more than 5. I got them over 5. Now let's do the Broncos. And I gotta do a disclaimer. I'm not the biggest fan of Sean Payton. I'm just not. But I thought Bo Nix was great last year. Despite the injury that he had, I think they would have actually been in the Super Bowl. I think whatever friction him and Sean Payton have, it'll get worked out. Because Sean Payton is really the person that's propping up Bo Nix with his play calling. So you do what you want with that. And I think they have one of the best defenses in the league. Now, I don't know if they have anything special brewing, but they got guys who can get after the passer. And because you have guys who can get after the passer, it makes your secondary better. So let me see. They got 9.5 wins for the Broncos. Is crazy. After all the games that they won last year with the schedule that they had last year, I'm going to go over 2, though. I'm going over 9.5 for the Broncos. And I don't know where that puts it. But I think at the end of the season, I think the Chargers will win the division. I think the Chargers will win the division. I think the Broncos will make the wild card. I think the Chiefs will fall short. And I think the Raiders will continue to build. I think the Raiders will get one of these top picks. And with all these teams needing a quarterback, you know you won't need a quarterback next year. And they're going to fleece somebody. I don't know who. But for one of these quarterbacks in next year's draft, they're going to fleece somebody. Because they're building up this draft as if it's going to be the end-all, be-all. And I don't think it is. And so somebody going to get fleeced. Somebody going to get fleeced. Somebody going to get their ticket punched to Ass Island. The Raiders going to get you. The Raiders going to get somebody. Watch. I'm telling you. They're going to get somebody with this pick. They're going to have a top pick next year because they, again, like I said, I'm predicting them to finish last because they are rebuilding. And they're going to look out on that landscape, and the Raiders are going to have a record where they're going to have the 3rd or the 4th pick. And it's going to be one of these quarterbacks that somebody really likes, and they want to jump up from 7 to 4. And the Raiders going to make a fleecing. And they're going to start building their franchise. So I believe they have a quarterback. I think Mendoza is a 2.0 version of Kirk Cousins, which I find it ironic that they have Kirk Cousins as the backup or the starter. That's the question mark. Now, we've all had this conversation too many times, but I'm going to continue to have it because I really feel like it's important for us to bring this up for the bajillionth time this season. Where is it? Where? Do you think the Padres have a push? I told y'all I'm going to start saving my Padres attire for the end of the show. That way that we can get people who come in late so they can catch the Padres information because that's what a lot of people come in for, Padres conversation. So I'm going to tell you this. I don't necessarily think – hold on, let me plug this fan in because it's getting hot in here. I don't necessarily think that the idea is – oh, that might be too loud. Hold on. I don't necessarily think the idea is can they win the World Series? The question is, can they make another push to the playoffs? Do you believe so? And if you do believe so, please, co-host, chat pack, tell me, what have you seen from them to make you believe that they can, again, I don't need to go to the standings. They can jump 3 teams. Now, if they're going to do this, if this is actually going to happen, like I told y'all, in that 11-day run, in that 13-game run, I can tell you if the season is over or not. And I wrote on the board somewhere, the board's in a different room. July 2nd. I brought the board in here, actually. No. Yeah. On July 2nd, I said the season was over. And I mean that. That's when I thought the fork was in this season. Period. But now because they've won, now because they beat a team that had previously lost 9 in a row, you added 3 to it to make it 12 in a row. So now you mean to tell me y'all think that because they beat the Marlins 3 games in a row in Miami where nobody goes to watch the games, you think that they are now back in it. If they're back in it, they'll win these 2 games against Colorado at home. And I'm not talking about in convincing fashion. I don't give a damn if it's 1-0 because I already told y'all the formula. One high-scoring game, they win. One high-scoring game, they lose. One low-scoring game, they lose. That's usually how the 3-game series go for the San Diego Padres. David P., I laid it out for you, baby. Chargers, Broncos, Chiefs, Raiders, man. You got it on tape. You got it on tape, David. You got it on tape. You already know what time it is. So do the Padres have a push in them? Do the Padres have the ability to make a push for the wild card? My answer is still no. I think my answer is going to be no. I don't think nothing's going to change my answer. For the very simple reason of, A, what they have to jump to get there. That's first and foremost. 2, what have you seen from them this year that can tell you they can put, again, Colorado and San Francisco, their next 2 opponents, have a combined 127-6 losses. So in the next 2 games, the Rockies are coming into this game in their last 10, they're 3-7. They've lost 2 in a row. They've got a minus 110-point run differential. You mean to tell me the Padres shouldn't win both these games if they're going to be a playoff contender? If the Padres are going to jump, because they jumped Miami, so it happened. They jumped Miami, who was ahead of them. Now you need to jump St. Louis. You need to jump the Nationals. By the time you get to the Diamondbacks, you should be ready to win 3 of those 4. Because if they get to this Diamondback series and they've won these 2 against Colorado and they can win 4 against San Francisco or 3 out of 4 against San Francisco, that'll be 5 out of their last 6 going into Arizona, who just, 6-4 in their last 10, and they've lost their last 3. So it's there like it has always been all season. No one here has talked about winning the division because we knew that would go to the Dodgers. If you positively think about a playoff push, if you're really thinking that, if you're buying what they're selling, the next 6 games will tell you all you need to know. I found out all I needed to know that last 13-game stretch. If you want to buy into this, if you think the Padres do have the push, these next 6 games will sell you. These next 6 games will get you back. If we come back after this 6-game run, and the Padres went 5-1, now we talking. Because that means good things are happening. But again, we got to see it. It has to happen in front of us. And right now, I don't know. Like I told y'all, July 2nd, we wrote it down. July 2nd, we wrote it down. I said it's over. Yeah, Manny's playing better. It wasn't that hard to play better than what he was playing. Manny's batting .210. Woo! He does have 23 home runs. And again, that's what I called for. If you're not going to hit for average, hit home runs. He's hitting home runs, and his average is beginning to go up because he's also getting on base. The Padres as a team, listen to this. The Padres as a team They're batting .232. That's 27th in the league. That's a massive sample size. Their on base percentage is .308. That's tied for 25th in the league. Their slugging percentage is 26 at .384. That's damn near last in the league. I mean, I don't know what you want. I don't know what you want to say. They're 24th in runs. They're 29th in hits. They're 20th in home runs. I mean, that's not too bad. But these numbers don't reflect it. These numbers don't reflect the massive turnaround, man. Yeah, it could be worse. It could be worse. You write excuses. It could be worse. It can get better. It can always get better. Joseph says they can't do it. They can't do it. The Ass Island starting pick. Yeah, that Ass Island. That injury riddled pitching staff ain't helping either. Picking the wrong guy out of the bullpen for a week, that didn't help either. So I got to see it, man. I 100% got to see it. These next 6 games, all home games, I can't. But their averages, man, their averages on the season. Some of their numbers in comparison to other teams in the league, it's either dead last or it's in the bottom 5. I have no idea how they're still alive. I literally have no idea. All right, so before I get out of here, I want to have a couple conversations with y'all. Okay. There are 2 things I want to talk about. One of them is very difficult to talk about, but I will talk about it. Our friend Toby McDonald, Rockin' Wine Tours. A lot of you guys know him. He was a huge part of the Kaplan and Cruz show. As we talked about the other day, we now have another person fighting cancer. If you know Toby McDonald, you know Toby has always been an awesome guy. Toby has always had jokes. He's a guy's guy. Throughout this process, he's one of my favorite people I've met. You know, throughout my 8 years in radio and podcasting. Just a very genuine person. Not everybody's cup of tea. He's got a weird sense of humor. But I dig it. I always have. Him and I have always gotten along. Since the day I met him, we have always gotten along. And so I think it sucks, man. It sucks to be sitting here behind this microphone talking about another person battling cancer. It's tough. It's he says it's he's got stage 4. He's got stage 4 cancer. It's a kiwi-sized tumor in his GI tract. It is very difficult to, hear about people in these fights, man. So if you know Toby McDonald, if you've ever come across Toby McDonald, if you've ever done a wine tour in Temecula with his company, shoot him some love. He's got a beautiful wife and an awesome young daughter. So just these are difficult conversations to have. Overall, health-wise, we all want to try to make sure we're in the best condition that we possibly can be, man. And we have to make sure that we fight the urge in us to not seek help from doctors, to not seek help, to maintain as healthy as a lifestyle that we can possibly have. Even I have started going to the doctor. And that's a miracle in itself. So you don't know something's wrong until you go find out what's wrong, man. I'm in your corner, Toby. Always have been. You always been my dog. And it's sad. It's sad news, man. But again, know that the spirit of this show is absolutely behind you, man. And if you need anything, feel free to let me know. If you need, a GoFundMe or you need some type of help, which you have ran a very good business, so I'm sure that's not the case. But whatever you need, feel free to reach out to the show, man. A lot of people have your back. I don't really know what else to say about it because, again, this is a very difficult conversation, and it's sad to talk about somebody who I've had such fond memories of and such a solid friendship with, man. For this guy to be sick like this, it's frustrating and it's sad. I mean, I guarantee it's way more frustrating for him and far more sad for him because he's the one dealing with it, man. So all we can continue to do is support our friends. We can support the people in the chat pack. And we can try to, continue to move this thing forward in life, man. In life. I'm gonna keep being here for y'all, man. And I hope y'all can keep being here for me, man. I got one more thing I want to talk about. I have something that's very important to me. I want to share with y'all. I always want to share with y'all. I always think that it's important to help kids when it comes to school. Oh, yeah, let me turn the music off for this. I always think it's important that we make sure that we take care of the youth in this country, no matter what school district you're in, no matter, what neighborhood you grew up in, no matter your nationality. I think it's very important that we support kids. And I think the easiest thing to do is to make sure that the teachers have what is necessary for kids to be able to come to class and to learn. I think we do a massive disservice in this country in teaching our youth. I know as a failed person taught by the Chicago public school system, I'm not a failed person. The system's a failed system. They fail a lot of kids. I just so happen to be able to dunk a basketball. But the system, the public school system is riddled with holes. And I think sometimes any hole we can plug is a good one. And so this particular hole I would like to ask for help in is the L Street self-serve storage. Stock the classroom, helping teachers focus on teaching. If you know a teacher, you know that teachers come out of their pocket on the daily. Joseph Cabral, my man, that's what I'm talking about, baby. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Fight that thing. Fight that thing indeed, brother. Love and respect. No, we are with you, man. This show is with you. I'm glad you can be here as long as you can be here, man. I'm going to keep being here, and I hope y'all keep showing up, man. I hope y'all keep supporting Joseph, and I hope y'all keep supporting Toby, man. Shout out to my brothers. Shout out to the brothers, man, fighting that cancer, man. Fuck that cancer, bro. Fuck that cancer. But in addition, helping these teachers, I know it's a crazy sweat segue, but I saw Joseph pop in, so I had to share that. Helping these teachers keep their money in their pocket because they're doing a thankless job by being a teacher. If you see some of the things that our current teachers are facing at the public school level, whether it be shortages in funding, if you live in San Diego County, you know every year the school district is out of money. It's a damn miracle. It's the eighth wonder of the world how the San Diego school district runs out of money every year. And the most we can do to help these teachers, the better. Now, of the things that the stock the classroom helping the teachers focus on teaching, it's a community supply drive from June 15th to August 31st. If you are going to help, please do so ordering from the Amazon gift list because all y'all got one of these. And if you're not watching on this, shout out to my baby Julian. That's who's on the screen. Scan this thing right here. Scan that Amazon gift list and do what you can to help some of these teachers. I greatly appreciate it, man. I really would. And most importantly, more than me appreciating it, they'll appreciate it. It's been a show, man. Good Tuesday. Good Tuesday. Again, keep your head up, Toby. Keep your head up, Joseph. Book that cancer. Thug life that cancer. Tupac style. If you're new to the show, follow the John Brown Podcast on YouTube so I can get to 500 subscribers so we can start monetizing. And then I'll probably have to stop cursing. So until we can keep cursing, fuck cancer. And I'll see y'all tomorrow, man. Bomb. Peace.